your partner is not supporting your birth plan. Maybe it's that they really want you to get that induction because they keep hearing the word stillbirth, and your OB is using their fear to scare your partner into pushing you into something that just doesn't feel right to you. Maybe it's as simple as maybe your care provider has told your partner that it's not safe for you to have a home birth and you have to have a hospital birth. Maybe it's something else. But the fact is that your partner is no longer on board, or maybe they weren't on board in the first place. How do you solve this? Well, here's the thing, is that it does not take grabbing a whole bunch of articles off the internet or finding journal articles or statistics or trying to convince them that what you want is safe. The truth is that your intuition is the greatest thing when it comes to what is true for you, what's going to help you. They need to trust your intuition, not the facts. Because your care provider, your OB, if they want to, they can just keep countering those facts with scary stories, and your partner is not going to feel safe. Also, when you try to bombard your partner with things to try to convince them to change their opinion, it's not going to work because they're still going to be of the same opinion. A man who is convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So even if you manage to wear him down to the point where he's like, fine, fuck it, I don't care, I'm just like, I'm done, I don't want to have this conversation anymore, and maybe he gets into that statement of like, you don't seem to get just how dangerous this is, and now you've put yourself as the enemy. Like, this can happen. Or maybe it's just some quiet resentment. Whatever it is, you're not addressing the real issue, which is your partner's fear. Your partner's afraid. First of all, they are not as in tune with your body as you are. They aren't able to trust the map that you have in your head of how things are going to go. If you want to have a home birth, if you want to avoid an induction, if you want to change care providers because you really don't like this OB and you'd rather have a midwife, if you want to have your birth your way without having to fight, without having to beg, without having to compromise, this is how you do it. You become the relationship leader. This is something that my mentor and relationship coach, Annie Lala, has taught me. And this is phenomenal. It works in so many different areas, including when you're inspiring your children. This also is in inspiring your partner to do things for you. This is how you get better friendships, deeper connections, how to get authority figures such as your care provider to be on board. This is a versatile tactic. And it takes 3 things first. The first one is that you need to ground yourself in your truth. That requires you to go inward and be like, what truly feels right for me in this situation? If it doesn't feel right to you, if you feel contracted and tense and icky about the idea of going into the hospital, or about inducing your labor, or about having that OB, you just don't trust it, and you're trusting your gut. If you feel like, oh, every time I think about going to this care provider, every time I think about birthing in this hospital, every time I think about inducing, I feel tense, I feel awful, and I'm trying to be okay with it, but I'm just not. It's a good indicator. It's not something you actually want, and if it's not something you want, you need to be able to sit with that and recognize this isn't what I want. The next thing, of course, is that you have to figure out exactly what you do want. Because just telling your partner, I don't want this, doesn't tell them what your plan is going forward, so they're not going to feel safe. And they can't support you if you don't know what your needs are. So, you need to be clear on what you don't want. You need to also be clear on what you do want. That's step 1. Step 2 is getting comfortable in your own fear so that you've worked it out in your head. I am now in a comfortable place that no matter what fears my partner brings up to me and all their concerns, I can just sit there, listen to it, not let it affect me. So maybe they're like, I'm really, really worried about stillbirth. But you can sit there and you can be like, honey, I honestly don't think that that's going to happen. I honestly feel like everything's going to be okay. And I have this feeling, like I can't shake this feeling that if we induce, what's going to happen is we're going to have a C-section. And it's going to be so traumatic. And I'm not going to be able to handle that. So then what you're doing in that case, by addressing your actual feelings, is that you're telling them, first of all, I feel safer in this direction. This inspires them to also want you to be safe. If they love you, as much as they say they love you, if they truly love you, then they're going to want to do everything they can to help you feel safe. This activates their protector instincts and takes them out of their fear. The next one, of course, is the little trick of saying, if I do this thing that you keep trying to push me into, I'm going to be resentful. I'm going to be fearful. I'm going to possibly have some bad thing that's going to make me feel worse about myself. I'm possibly going to be injured. And you're showing them, it's like, if I go down this route, I don't feel safe. So it's, I feel safe over here. I don't feel safe over here. Now they're seeing, oh, staying with this OB, oh, going with this hospital birth, oh, going with this induction doesn't make you feel safe. Well, I, as your partner, want you to feel safe and supported. I'm a little afraid, however, I'm going to step into my role of protector and face my fear. Men are really good at that. They love to play the hero. So by doing that, you're showing them, it's like, if you support me in this thing that I know you're afraid, but I really need this to feel safe, if you can support me in this, you're my hero. This is the same thing for parenting. This is the same thing if you need them to stand up to your mother-in-law or your mother in anything that you want for your children here on out. Okay? Finally, the last one that you need to focus on is you need to give them time to process it. After you've spoken your truth, you cannot expect them to automatically say yes. They won't. If they feel pressured or manipulated, they're going to close off. They're going to have a closed heart. So what you need to do is, after you've spoken your truth without any shame, without any blame, without making them wrong for their fears, and you just express it from the deepest part of your heart, and you're saying, you know what? I can't see myself agreeing to this induction. It's just horrible for me to even think about it. It's causing me a lot of anxiety. I don't feel safe. Now, you're not saying to them, you're wrong for pushing me into this. You're not saying, if you do this, I'm going to leave you, or anything that's going to threaten them. But you're saying, this is what's going to make me feel safe. And then you say, you can take some time to think about it, but I just really needed to express my concern because, like, this has been bothering me. And I needed to tell you because I need to feel safe right now. And then what they're going to do is they're going to process it, and then you drop it. But at the same time, every once in a while, you just inspirationally say, you know, I would really love a home birth. You know, I'd really like a midwife. You know, I'd feel so safe with a midwife. And eventually they're going to look as like, all right, you can have your midwife. All right. We won't induce unless you feel that you need to change the plan. All right. We're not going to have that OB. We're on board for a home birth. Now, this works better the earlier you do it in pregnancy. So this is why one of my number one things I tell my clients is that before they get pregnant, if they're doing a do-over, or if they're in their first trimester, this is when they need to create their plan. Because once they've created their plan of what is their ultimate birth vision, then we bring the partner in and bring them on board. So the earlier you can bring your partner on board, instead of waiting at the very last minute, the better off you're going to be. And I talk about this inside my book, Your Empowered Birth, which is available on Amazon, by the way. So the link's in the bio. But the fact is that what you're ultimately doing is you're inspiring your partner, and they don't have to watch a single video. They don't have to read a whole bunch of medical articles that they probably are going to have go way over their head, or they're going to draw the wrong conclusions. Because the other thing about information is two people can get the exact same information with the exact same risks and everything, but they're going to have completely different opinions on it. They're going to have a completely different viewpoint of risk. So even if you said to them, oh, sweetie, it's only a 1 in 1,000 chance of stillbirth after 41 weeks. I mean, seriously? No, maybe that 1 in 1,000 chance is scary to them and they don't want to risk it. So you have to be able to be willing to recognize that the reason why I say care providers need to stop just saying, oh, it's too risky, you can't do it, but instead give the numbers is because risk is relative. And the same thing with your partner. They have a completely different agenda of what they feel is most important. But if they love you, the most important thing that will override all of their fears is simply making you feel safe and supported and loved. And as long as you feel safe, supported, and loved, and this is what my clients have even echoed multiple times, because I bring in their partners to work with them every time. It's like, I just want her to feel safe, supported, and loved and have this baby safe. That's my main concern. It's like, okay, cool. Well, the safest way for her to have this baby is in a way that she feels is right for her. She needs to trust her instincts. If you go against those instincts, that's when problems happen, and then you're not safe. So by doing that, by understanding you need to be the relationship leader, that's how you get your way. And it's not manipulation. It's truth. It's honesty. It's communication. It's love. And it will make sure that you get your home birth, or get rid of that OB that you hate, or hire a doula, or cancel your induction, or whatever else it is that your partner is kind of saying no to or pushing you into. All that will go away the second you do that. All right? So thank you for watching. Again, if you're finding value in these videos, make sure that you're liking, make sure that you're saving these reels for later. Make sure that you're commenting, tell others about it. I have my Empowered Birth community. Follow me on social media and you'll get those tips. But ultimately, this is your birth and you deserve to have it the way you want. And your partner needs to be on board. They are your right support. If they aren't on board, that's when things fall apart. So I have my 5 pillars. You need the right mindset, you need the right education, the right environment, the right facilitators, and the right support. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.